All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Paranormal Portal. It's me, your host, Brent Thomas. Hope you guys are having a great week. Thank you so much for hanging out with me here on this Hump Day Eve or Hump Day night or however the hell you say it the right way. I don't mean the day before Hump Day as in the night before, but I mean the night that is Hump Day. So I think it's Hump Day night, but welcome everybody. Hope everything is going wonderful. And Don will be here shortly. He's just been delayed a little bit, so we'll be waiting on his arrival here into the portal as well. But thank you for arriving yourself. And don't forget that we love you. And it means everything when you come in and hang out with us. So good to see all these faces popping into the chat already. Good to see you all. Thank you so much for coming in. And I guess I should probably just say, look, we got a fantastic show tonight. I believe that every show is fantastic, but I think this one is no exception. And as always, let me give a great thank you to the sponsor of the Paranormal Portal, Cryptid Coin, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. And one of the people making this show possible is Cryptid Coin. And if you're not familiar with Cryptid Coin, it's a newer cryptocurrency that has its heart in cryptid research and investigations. So if you're looking for opportunities to invest, and maybe it's not in the normal fiat currency ways, maybe you're looking to get into cryptocurrencies. And I am actually invested myself, and here's to hoping that it's a great thing. But I'll tell you what, they've gone out of their way to support the Paranormal Portal, and I can't think of a cooler name for a cryptocurrency as well. That's just right up my alley. So of course I had to endorse it and invest in it as well. But if you think that maybe this might be an avenue for you to check out, then by all means go over to cryptidcoin.io. Again, cryptidcoin.io. and learn more. And it's available now on PancakeSwap as well, so it makes getting involved even easier. So check it out. Special thank you to Cryptid Coin for helping to make the Paranormal Portal possible. And we got a lot going on tonight. I've got, of course, the news right around the corner. We've got a really cool old interview that was remastered by our very good friend, Mr. Wes Germer. We're going to be showing you guys in just a little bit on the other side of the news. And then we got a whole bunch of creature reports and other strangeness to get into tonight. So there's a lot on the docket. So I hope you're all ready, because it's about to get spooky. There's the boom. I love the boom. That gets my heart just racing. All right, so without further ado, I guess while we're waiting on Don, we can jump into a whole helping of the Paranormal Portal news. So I hope you guys are ready. We're going to dive into it right now. I just love that we're the most trusted name in news, or trusted news. So welcome everybody to the Paranormal Portal news desk as we dive into all these curious... Oh, I hear jingling. Santa? The wicked laugh comes in. Hey, Mr. Longbeard, welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, I'll be there in a minute.
I'll wait here. I'm going to read him some news while you're getting transformed into your show self. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, got a bunch of news articles I've curated for your listening and viewing pleasure. So without further ado, let's jump into some of these. And first up is an article from, of course, unexplained-mysteries.com. And so a whole host of new articles to get into tonight. And the first one is this one, and it's from unexplained-mysteries.com. Let me close the ad. And it's scientists create the world's first ever synthetic embryos. Did we need synthetic embryos?
You know, we always talk about bad ideas, don't we?
It's like, wait a minute. I saw Blade Runner. I don't think that this works out real well. Synthetic embryos. I didn't know, was there a shortage of good ones? And so they needed to invent some synthetic ones. And what the hell does that even mean? Well, let's read the article and try to find out. But let's see. Embryo-like structures with a brain, intestines, and beating heart have been created by scientists in a lab. Well, there you go. The technically impressive, though morally questionable achievement was reported by researchers at the Weizmann Institute in Israel who used stem cells from mice to create synthetic embryos without the need for sperm, eggs, or fertilization. Oh my God, that's all kinds of creepy. Remarkably, we show the embryonic stem cells generate whole synthetic embryos, meaning this includes the placenta, the yolk sac surrounding the embryo, said Professor Jacob Hanna, and we are truly excited about this work and its implications. What are its implications is what I'm wondering. It's like, at what point do you think we might need some synthetic embryos? Well, I don't know. In the future, synthetic embryos could be used in place of real animal embryos in medical testing while also offering new sources of cells and tissue for human transplantation. Well, that could be kind of cool, I guess. Those worried about the possibility of scientists creating synthetic creatures using this technique, however, need not worry, as the embryos do not have the capacity to grow into actual animals. There's also no plans at present to create synthetic human embryos. Synthetic human embryos are not an immediate prospect, said Dr. James Briscoe. We know less about human embryos than mouse embryos, and the efficiency of the mouse synthetic embryos suggests that translating the findings to human requires further development. Or so they tell us.
You know, that's interesting because, you know, all the controversy about what is a baby, what is a human.
Yeah.
You know,
sure.
So it says it's got a functioning brain and beating heart
yep.
and circulatory system or whatever.
Yeah.
So are those technically embryos? Are embryos living thing, or are they not living because they're not like 20 weeks? You know,
or are they never considered living because they came from a test tube? And what definition do you apply there? I don't know. This is weird.
Yeah, good question.
This gets into a whole different arena of possibility and ethics, I would think. But man, this is like Franken-science here, and maybe there's all kinds of good reasons for it. But it just sounds kind of scary to me. I don't know. I'm kind of a traditionalist in that way. It's like, maybe we'll just grow our own people for now. And I don't know if we ever need... I mean, this is like... I don't even know. I mean, my head's just reeling just reading this. So,
right. Yeah.
There you have it. That's the first article in the news, folks. And come to your own conclusions on whatever the hell that means. It's shocking to me, but maybe a lot of great things could come from it. And we could create, an ability to work around... I don't know, malformations or even transplantations, so I suppose, I don't know. I just don't have a clue what the hell I'm hearing here. So anyway, we'll go to the next article while the world absorbs this news. And the next article up for bat here on the newscast is, of course, from unexplained-mysteries.com. And this is another fine example of Paranormal Portal news. And this is... Oh yeah, this is we covered this a little bit ago. Whether they think they may have found a canister that might contain some of the gold that was apparently looted during World War II by the bad guys from Germany, and so it says permission given to raise mystery canister and hunt for lost Nazi gold. How about that, Don?
Lost Nazi gold.
I don't think it was really Nazi gold, though.
It probably wasn't. It was probably the stolen gold.
It was appropriated gold, I would think would be, and that'd be the gentlest way to put it. But they kind of stole all of that and decided it was theirs. But treasure hunters will soon be digging up a canister thought to contain $250 million of plundered Nazi gold.
Wow.
During World War II, the Nazis plundered all manner of treasures from across Europe, and much of it has yet to be recovered. One particular hoard, which was stolen on the orders of Heinrich Himmler, had been hidden somewhere in Poland so that it could be later used to set up the Fourth Reich, because apparently 3 weren't enough. The treasure is thought to contain around $250 million worth of valuables, including the gold of Breslau, which was plundered from a police headquarters near Wrocław in Poland. Now a group of treasure hunters believes it may have located these long-lost riches underneath an abandoned conservatory at an 18th century palace in the Polish village of Minkowski. A few months ago, the group was able to use ground-penetrating radar to identify what appeared to be a 5-foot metal canister buried 10 feet beneath the ground at the very place where the treasure was rumored to be. Now, at last, permission has been granted to raise a mysterious canister in the hope that it will contain the enormous wealth of riches that the group has been searching for. We're excited to share with you the receiving of our latest permit required for the final excavation of the deposits, said Silesian Bridge Foundation member Roman Furmaniak. Save the date, September 1st. Isn't it? What is it now?
Today's the 3rd of August.
So I guess
we have 30 days.
Oh, okay, August. Yeah, right. It's September. Yeah. All right, sorry. I kind of brain warp. Big date for a big day. Things are moving. We would love to make it a sprint as much as we can, but we understand the impatience and what we are doing our best with what we have. It will be very interesting indeed to see what the team uncovers in about a month's time. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, I hope they find it. That'd be great. I don't know. What do they do then? Do they reappropriate it to where it was taken from, or how does that work?
It.
Well,
yeah, they're going to reappropriate it. That's for sure.
Right, to their bank accounts.
Where are they going to? Who? Yeah, okay. Let me just file a random. Hey, you owe me money because I was plundered during World War II from my great grandpa. So I mean, yeah. Let me go ahead and do that.
Sure. Put your name in that hat. Might as well.
There's no way.
Sure.
There's going to be a billion people saying, "Hey, that's my money. It came from
my ancestors.
It was stolen from my ancestors."
Yeah, and they may be right, but at that point,
prove it.
Yeah, that's the hard part. Yeah, prove it. But anyway, interesting. Hopefully they find it though and recover it. It is kind of interesting that stuff is still out there,
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, there's a lot of stuff still out there, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Even much older wrecks and stuff from the shipping disasters of ages old.
Yep.
But those are mostly kelp beds now.
Yeah.
It's not like you're going to find a sunken ship anymore, but if you do, it's much newer.
Will Geraldo Rivera host the opening? That's good.
I don't know what Geraldo Rivera should host, but anyway,
maybe his own funeral.
Ooh,
I get tired of that guy. Can't believe he's still around.
He is. He's like a boomerang. You kick him out the door, and he'll come back eventually.
Flying back.
All right, so that was that article, ladies and gentlemen, and apparently there's still Nazi gold out there, and there are people looking for it. So maybe they'll find it. Let's get to the next one, and this is from unexplained-mysteries.com as well. Great site. Please check them out. They do a marvelous job over there, and I've just been enamored with this site for the entire newscasting days because there's so much information here, and it's really in bite-sized nuggets. So if you're interested, you can find articles on Unexplained Mysteries to check it out. Did he fail on a jump up?
Well, no, he just about failed me on a jump up. Yeah, he made it all the way up.
Okay, all right. So here is the next one, and this is someone has graffitied "Aliens exist on the Parthenon or the Pantheon in Rome."
Wow,
well, that's horrible.
You think?
Ah, come on. I mean, it's okay to have a belief. Hey, aliens are here; they exist. Fantastic. Do you need to deface ancient structures?
You know what, though? I gotta say this, though. I mean, do you think they didn't deface ancient structures back in the ancient days?
Yeah, but then it would still be ancient work.
it'd be ancient graffiti.
Right, exactly.
But it'd been done with the hammers and chisels.
So let's say you had an old Elvis record, and then like let's say Buddy Holly came in and scratched it on purpose.
I'd say, thank you, Buddy Holly. Here's yours. Crack.
That'd still be pretty cool, though, because it was Buddy Holly's scratch, and Elvis's record, but this is
wiki, what?
yeah, exactly. So you know what I mean, though.
Yeah,
It's a little different, but
yeah.
anyway.
I had this really cool Elvis, and then Buddy Holly broke it.
Buddy Holly wrecked my album.
Yeah,
Oh. Anyway.
it all went down in flames anyhow.
Yeah. All right. Oh, Jesus. That's kind of dark. All right. Let's get to the next one here. Talking about this graffitiing, and it's a 2,000-year-old structure was defaced by someone with an apparent interest in UFOs and aliens and a really low IQ, I'm going to bet. Formerly a Roman temple built somewhere between around 2,000 years ago, the historic building has been in continuous use as a Catholic church since the 7th century AD, and is considered to be one of the best preserved ancient Roman buildings still standing today. Let's put graffiti on it. Oh my God. There was an understandable amount of outrage. Then it was discovered around 2 weeks ago, that someone had scribbled "aliens exist" along what looked like two crude flying saucers on the wall of the building in blue spray paint. The lack of working security cameras in the area has meant that the police have struggled to determine who was responsible for defacing the building.
Really?
A team of experts has since used a combination of special solvents and lasers to painstakingly remove the paint from the wall without causing further damage. Well, cool. Whether the culprit had been trying to make some sort of statement or had simply sprayed the writing on the wall out of pure devilment remains unclear. Never heard that word, devilment, before. And there's an example of it. It's still preserved in photograph form, but that's horrible. I mean, this is so much history. It's like, let's put stupid stuff up there. And it's not even nice. You know, I mean, it's not even well done.
Oh, you know what really sucks? That's in English.
It is. It is.
That's even worse.
That could be a little bit of a clue. Any tourists over there, I wonder?
No. There's no
Something wrong with Rome. But anyway, there you have it. There's idiots all over the world, folks.
And it seems that they're all American.
maybe we don't know.
Well, you know, all you got to do is look at the nightly news and see all these people who are getting locked up overseas, right?
Sure.
And then you go, well, you know.
Yeah, I guess the world's getting a little tired of us, but we've been known to wear out our welcome in a lot of countries. So, all right, let's go to the next story on the newscast tonight, and this is from unexplained-mysteries.com again, of course. And this one is, I guess, this is filed under no duh, but because it's a paranormal show. But this is consciousness may persist after death. Study suggests researchers now believe that consciousness may persist for up to 20 seconds after a person has clinically died. I think it's longer. Time of death is usually recorded at the moment a person's heart has stopped. However, research into near-death experiences has indicated that this may not be the end of the story for many people. Previous studies have suggested that a surge of electricity enters the brain just prior to death, and research done on animals has indicated that the brain may enter a hyper-alert state at that time.
Really?
Some people report experiencing all manner of things, including the typical tunnel of light, the presence of lost loved ones, psychedelic visions, and other strange phenomena, all while clinically deceased, suggesting that there's something more going on than meets the eye. Those who survive such near-death experiences often recount vivid memories of them. It would certainly seem as though consciousness persists even when the heart has stopped beating. Dr. Sam Parnia of the New York NYU Langone School of Medicine and colleagues have been investigating exactly how the brain dies when taking into account stories of near-death experiences. Consciousness, he believes, can continue for up to 20 seconds after the heart has stopped. And even after that, however, the brain can potentially take hours to completely shut down. Many times, those who have had such experiences talk about floating around the room and being aware of the medical team working on their body, he told Live Science. And they'll describe watching doctors and nurses working, and they'll describe having an awareness of full conversations, of visual things that are going on that would otherwise not be known to them. Yeah, because their eyes are closed, usually. I mean, it's not like, why would they have visual depictions of what happened in the room?
Yeah, that would be psychedelic. That would be
psychic.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah, the people are in the room. Yeah, that would
Sure.
make sense. So yeah. But I mean, just saying it's only 20 seconds. Well, maybe that's the length of the charge of electricity, or the
Maybe.
length of measurable
Right.
activity.
There you go.
After the electrical surge.
Yep.
But it's certainly not the end of
Things. Yeah.
Obviously, because people who die on the table, they're more than 20 seconds.
And they even have accounts. We've covered them on the show.
Right.
Many people have accounts of seeing loved ones in faraway places, and able to describe to that person upon resuscitating what they saw and what they were doing. And what are the odds of that? Oh, this isn't just an electric. See, that's the point. And the problem with this kind of stuff, and I understand the desire for science to understand this stuff, but why is it so important for them to remove that hope? Like they want to can it, and they want to label it and shelve it and put it away. But this is sloppy. This is all kinds of I don't know. I mean, these are just guesses, really. These people don't know what the hell's going on.
And nobody's really gonna, unless it's happened to them, or unless it's happened to them, really, most people aren't gonna believe you anyhow.
Right.
And that's just because we're not geared like that. We're not taught that there's a possibility that you can cross over without actually crossing over.
Sure.
Or whatever that may be, whatever you're crossing over may be.
Right.
There are people that just, we're dead when we're dead. Well, okay, congratulations, you're dead. That's fine.
Yeah, and that's the point. It's like
so you've been dead for 5 minutes, but you're dead when you're dead. So you've been dead for 5 minutes, but you came back. What happened?
Yeah, or 17 minutes,
17
or 40 some minutes. I've heard.
Yeah, exactly.
There's all kinds of different experiences.
And you also have the people that have been on Terry Schiavo. In comas forever,
Oh,
for
sure.
like years and years and years.
Right.
And, do they have, there's no brain activity. Well, okay. Are
Right.
they dead? We don't know. We don't know.
There's so much that's not known, and that's, I guess, the hubris again. That's my hardest part about all of this, is the idea that even, I give a lot of credit, and I really do respect the sciences.
Right.
I truly do. But I don't think this is an arena with which they can even offer even valid hypothesis, because
Right.
there's just so many unknowns. We can't, and you said it right. You said it perfectly, that they can measure.
Right.
And that's the key.
Right. Well, and Rachel said something too. She says the 20 seconds with an energy spark, it's like the booster rocket that gets the spacecraft to space.
Sure.
But
That's a good point.
There's still something there when it
Right.
gets to space. Exactly. It's exactly right. Yep.
Yep. It's not, good points. Yeah, exactly. Oh, I love all this like-minded thinking. I'm okay with entertaining possibilities, but this is one that I don't know. I don't understand why they need to try to put these barriers on it.
I think if we're going to postulate, I think they're trying to put all these down to silly science and silly religious beliefs and silly beliefs in general, because it gives people hope.
Right. And I was just thinking that same thing. It's like it's almost like they want to destroy that hope.
Well, can we look at the state of the world?
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like,
just in general,
right. That there seems to be a need to destroy that spirituality.
Yeah.
And they just can't do that. That's not what they do. That's not what they should be doing. Sure, it makes sense that they would search the phenomena and look into it, and that's cool that they are. But to come up with suppositions, it's 20 seconds. Based on what?
Yeah.
What you can measure.
Right. Exactly.
And there's so many different, I would assume so many different energy types than just an electrical charge that we can measure.
Right.
So I don't know. There's other measurements as well, like different types of imaging. MRI, magnetic resonance imaging, CAT, X-ray scanning, and such. But and it'll grow, and I think eventually that the sciences will prove the spiritual, and that's fine.
But the thing is you know what they'll do? They'll turn around and say, "Well, the science isn't settled," but it's settled science.
Is it?
Who knows? They keep changing their minds.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We've always known that this is the way the science is. Oh no, that's not the way the science is. It's settled science. No, it's not.
Well,
we have no idea.
Yeah, we're just. I mean, if anything, the sciences are still very young and there's so much to learn.
Yeah.
That's why we're doing the show.
That's right.
I know I got a lot. I don't know anything, and but I still have an open mind. And I think that to truly look at things scientifically, you have to until you can systematically eliminate a possibility, it remains a possibility. And I don't think they have the tools to systematically eliminate possibilities for this kind of research. But anyway, just some thoughts.
There you go.
There we go. Let's get to the next one, and this one's old. This one's from 2012, but I saw the headline. I was like, oh my God.
What?
This is really disturbing.
Wow.
So.
Oh God, the thought that just went through my head. Never mind.
Well, yeah. Let's see what it is here. And this is from unexplained-mysteries.com from 2012, April 3rd of 2012. From the archives, but I've had this open for a while, so I thought we better get into it. Baby born without any blood. Huh?
Yeah, huh?
Olivia Norton stunned doctors by surviving after being born with almost no hemoglobin at all.
Yeah.
Baby Olivia was white as a sheet when she arrived with a condition so rare that her name will be added to medical journals. Doctors had given her only 2 hours to live, but thanks to rapid response and emergency transfusions, she slowly turned a healthy pink color and was soon on the mend. Olivia was my first baby, so I didn't really know what to expect, but I certainly didn't think she'd be that color, said her mom. Yeah. Wow, what a terrifying way to enter the world.
Right.
I mean, thank God the little girl lived. I don't know. It would be neat if there was some kind of update. Like, yeah, she's living a normal life now. Everything's fine. Because, again, this is, 10 years old now. So she's a 10-year-old kid if she continued to be okay. But very wild. I bet you we could probably look and see.
That's what I'm doing.
Olivia Norton. Okay. Do you want this open or can I?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Because that actually, that actually concludes the news.
The news.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to the Paranormal Portal, the news. That cracks me up. All right, let's get back to the rest of the show.
Cue the porn music.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for humoring us with the news and sticking around through it. I love doing the news. Again, there's some really interesting things going on, and it's great fodder for discussion and for a lot of times some good laughs. But I've got a special treat for you guys. This is something that is an old interview of Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin. And it was remastered by Wes, and he posted it. Wes Germer.
Oh.
And we're going to show that now. And I got to tell you, the guy that's doing the interview he comes off as abrasive and almost disinterested, which is really tragic. And he's really borderline rude. But it's neat to hear Roger and Bob put this experience in their own words. And so we're going to check that out right now, folks. And special thanks to Wes for whipping this up and putting it together so that we could share it with the world. So we're going to go to that now. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Because we're going in.
Well, first of all, the reason that we were in this place is I've been filming a documentary on this thing for the past 8 months or so. And I've been going to areas, interviewing people that have seen these creatures, other than myself now. And we had went to this particular area because a month before this, they had found 3 different sets of tracks up in that area.
Now, going back to you, first of all, you showed some routine film of your pack horses, didn't you?
Right.
Now, what were you doing filming at that particular time on the pack horse bit?
Well, we had hadn't taken any, and I thought right of that particular area there before, And there was an area right in there. There was some of these.
You were just taking odd shots then,
just taking some shots of the scenery and of myself and Bob in that area.
Now we'll just jump to what you first saw that made you excited.
All right, we rounded a bend in the road.
You were walking?
No, we were riding.
Yeah, on a horse.
Riding on horses.
Where was your camera?
The camera was in my saddlebags on the left-hand side.
Who was we?
Bob Gimlin, myself.
Bob's right here, right?
Uh-huh.
So you're riding on the horses, your camera's in the saddlebag, you come around the bend, and then what happens?
All of a sudden, I caught something out of the glimpse out of the corner of my eye, and my horse immediately reared on me, and I tried to pull him down, and at this instant after I seen the object to the side, I wasn't able to see it again for a little bit. It fell with me. I probably pulled him half over, and as he got up, I was able to get up and control him until I went around the other side and got the camera out of the saddlebag, and then I turned my horse loose and was able to start shooting. And
just a minute. You got off your horse and turned it loose.
Right. Well, my horse. No, I was already off my horse. I was on the ground underneath him.
Okay, you got your camera, turned your horse loose.
Right.
Then you looked up, and what did you see?
Looked up, and I seen this creature about 120 away, and she was at that point had turned around and was just going up the bank, this small bank over there, and I started running and trying to get a shot of her, and I yelled at Bob to cover me.
Where was Bob? Where were you then, Bob? Bob, get from Yakima.
I was directly behind Roger, mounted on the horse that I was riding on, and also when we sighted this creature, my horse frightened from it too, but he was an older, seasoned horse, and I controlled him quite well because I stayed in the saddle. And I did cover Roger at the time he told me to cover him. And
What do you mean cover him?
I took my rifle from the scabbard, from the saddle, and in the event that this creature would attack, I felt that I could protect him somewhat.
Did you have your eye on the creature all the time?
Most of the time. When I didn't have him on the ground where I had trying to control the horse on, it was a little bit unlevel. And
what was the creature then doing when you first saw it?
When I first saw it, it was standing, looking straight at me.
Face on?
Face on.
Describe it to me, Bob.
It was a large, hairy creature with arms that hang down beside its, fore down on its sides, below its knees. And it was quite...
Would you agree with that?
Well, I think Bob's a little excited here. They were below the knees. They were above the knees.
But they were well down on the thighs, weren't they?
Way down, right.
Because I could see that on the film tonight. Yeah. They were well down on the thighs.
And she was heavy, although I had no way of estimating her weight at that time, and only guessed since then. But she turned then. She stood there for an instant, and she turned and started up over this bar.
Now, when you looked at her, describe her physically to me. Was there any shred of clothing of any kind?
No clothing at all on this creature, covered with hair only, except around the face and nose. The nose was bare, and around the cheeks were bare.
What kind of nose did it have?
It had a broad, flat nose.
Like a gorilla's nose with the open nostrils?
No, not like that. The nostrils, you could not see down.
Would you agree with kind of human-type nose?
That's right.
What about the lips?
The lips, I never really noticed that much at that particular time when she was face on to me, because she just stood there for an instant and turned and walked away with her, started walking away.
Any sound at all?
No.
Now, what about the physical characteristics, her figure?
She was kind of slumped and very heavily her entire body was heavy. And
were the breasts visible?
They were visible.
Were they covered with hair?
Were covered with hair.
Mm-hmm. Now, the proportions of the body. Was it like a giant human?
Yes, it seemed to be, to me, more like a giant man, except it had breasts. This was one thing that, her characteristics, and the anthropologist and zoologist this evening brought this out, that it seemed to be more like a huge man. In other words, she didn't have a narrow waist and a big set of hips, like that we would think of as a woman.
And when it strode away from the camera, it walked very much like a huge, big, strong man, didn't it?
Well, it did. However, I would make the estimate or the judgment, I might say, that a female of this kind wouldn't look very female-ish under the environment that she would maybe would have to.
Bob, how did you feel when you saw it? Do you think somebody was pulling a gag on you?
No, not it. Just it was surprising, and we talked about these things many times, and actually talked what we would do if we happened to see one.
Now, before we finish the chase, you had your rifle out the scabbard. What kind of rifle was it?
30-06 rifle.
And you can use a rifle, obviously.
Yes, I can. I'm grown up
Would
with
it be
one.
worth $100,000 cash to you if you'd raised that rifle and shot this creature? You must have known that.
I don't believe I could do it.
Even if you just wounded it.
Well,
would be
like Roger.
Hey?
That would be
A mess.
a mess. To both Bob and I, we had agreed that we will not shoot one of these creatures unless she would attack us or that we would be protecting our lives. I think that we would have to fear for our own lives if we were to wound and make a terrible mess out of something like
Right.
this.
So finally, I'm back to Roger Patterson again. When you got your camera steadied, did you stand still and take the pictures I saw, or did you follow it on foot? Her, we should say follow her on foot.
I followed it on foot because this was the only way that I had. I knew this situation, of course, at the time, and I could see her moving away from me, and I knew Bob was there, and I thought, if I'm ever going to get any pictures, I'll have to do it now. And I ran as best I could and trotted.
How close did you get? The closest?
Well, I think we were closer when we first seen her than any other time, don't you, Bob?
No, I disagree with you there. I believe just immediately after we got across the creek, we were probably closer to her at that time than we were when we first sighted her, because she had her back to us at that time, and or at least I was closer because I ran a little farther up on the horse. I was moving pretty fast, and I got him finally across the creek. So I believe at that time when I crossed the creek, I was the closest I ever was to her, and I believe it was about 90 feet at that time.
Now, Roger, how far did you notice colors of the palms of the hands there? Were you close enough for that?
I was, but I never noticed.
Now, how far did you follow her?
I didn't follow her any much further than when my camera run out of film, and I knew that it was out. And Bob got on his horse and went after her then. And from that point, he seen her more than I did. I never seen her again.
How far were you able to follow her?
I watched her until she went up a road about 300 yards, and she went around and in the road, and that was the last I seen of her.
Now, after all this dreadful excitement, what did the pair of you do? Here you after all these hundreds of years of rumors and sightings and all the rest of it, all up and down the Pacific Northwest and in Michigan and Wisconsin and everywhere else, what did you do when you're standing there, you've recovered from the shock with a camera full of film? I mean, just tell me precisely what you did at that time. What did you say to each other?
Well, when Bob come back, I yelled for him, Bob, come back, because at this point my horse was, I didn't know where, and the pack horse was gone. My scabbard, my rifle was in the scabbard on the horse, and the tracks before down in there that we had heard about were in a set of 3, and there was a bigger one there, and I felt that possibly there was a male close in.
You were getting nervous.
I was getting nervous.
And then you were on foot there without your rifle.
I was on foot without anything, and I yelled for Bob to come back, and we would think the thing over. And
was that the time you broke off the chase, you might say?
Right, that was when I last seen her go around the curve. And at that time, I went back and proceeded to gather up Roger's horses, or his horse that he was riding in the pack horse. And
Then what?
After chasing him up and down the road for a little while and finally catching him, well, we talked it over, and I said I'd check around and see if maybe that I could find some tracks where she had come into this area and possibly sight the other one. So I took the camera while he gathered up his stuff and
You
just
scouted around for a while, did
Right,
you?
yeah.
Then when did you make Now, were you able to identify specifically the tracks she had made while you were following her?
Yes, because immediately after we went across and immediately after I called Bob back, we looked at the tracks, and they were the tracks were there.
These are the tracks we saw in the movie tonight.
That's right.
The tracks for which you had the plaster cast
Right.
tonight.
Mhm.
How come you had plaster cast with you?
We didn't
Plaster
have,
with you?
We didn't have plaster Paris with it. We had to go back to the truck and get plaster and come up and cast them.
How long would that take you to leave the scene, go back to the
Well,
truck, and come up again?
We were at that point about two what is it, 2 miles from that area?
Yeah, about 2 miles, I'd say. By the road, it was just about an even 2 miles. Across the hill or that way, it was a little shorter, but we went through.
Now, okay, so you then gave up. You took the plaster tracks. How deep were these tracks, by the way, in inches? Inch and a quarter? Here they are here.
Some of them were down as far as 3.5 of the softer soil. These particular ones we took here weren't quite so deep because they were flatter tracks.
All right, now, have any of the zoologists or the people you consulted, have they given you any idea of the weight of this creature?
They did on the height, measuring by poles of her feet in the picture, and they estimated her height to be approximately 6'9".
What was the length of the stride?
Pardon me, but this was estimated on a 14-inch track, and these were 14.5 inches, which would add quite a considerable bit to...
What was the stride cadence? I believe that's the proper technical description.
She averaged a 41-inch stride, somewhere thereabouts. She was taking sheep to a 46-inch stride.
So that was 3 feet 5 to 12 feet 36, 12, 14, 48. 3 feet 5 to 3 feet 10.
Yes.
Oh, goodness gracious me.
And of course
there must be lots of them around there. I mean, what would they be doing down at the creek?
Well, they're in this creek. We didn't fish it, but we seen them jumping, and I could only surmise what she was either drinking or possibly trying to catch fish in the creek.
Any sign of feces around? Any other tracks of the animal?
There was no droppings at all.
That's the word I was looking for. Well, now what? You're going to sell this film to the highest bidder?
Well, we just haven't. We haven't made any definite plans, but I would imagine that we will probably sell it.
How can you afford to take all this time off to go down? Oh, no, rather, first of all, how long have you been looking for Sasquatch, live Sasquatch?
Well, off and on for about 7.5 years. But the last 4 years, I've made much more of an effort than any other time.
You're financially independent?
Well, somewhat.
Yes. In other words, you can go out this kind of cable without suffering too much financially.
Well, it's been tough.
Why has nobody ever found any bones of these Sasquatch down in that Bigfoot country where there have been reports of so many tracks?
Well, not only down in that country, but there's been tracks all over the Northwest in Canada, as you well know, in Canada. I think, anyway, this maybe doesn't agree with all of the fellas that's been involved in this, but they seem to dwell primarily in the rainforest, or they can get to the rainforest fairly easy. And the bones in this type of climate, in a rainforest climate, don't last very long.
Do you realize, boys, Bob Gilman and Roger Patterson, there are people who are going to say you're total nuts. You know that, don't you? You're held up to ridicule by some people.
Well, I've taken quite a bit of this in the past, and it doesn't surprise me. I know they're there, and I know that we're going to get one in the next possibly 5 to 10 years, or maybe sooner. Mm-hmm. And when we do, I think there's going to have to be many people, and also scientists, maybe Little Crow.
So there you go.
There you go.
From the words of the Godfather himself, with Roger there too.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that interview was abrasive as hell, and he just kept cutting him off and kept inserting himself and really trying to push it along. And I don't know the interviewer, but having talked with Bob and stuff, I mean, it's just neat to let him tell his own story without being prodded all the way through it. And Bob did appear on the podcast with Don and I when we were in Medellin Falls.
Yep.
And we had a great discussion with him. And if you haven't heard that, check out our podcast. And, of course, the podcast is available on all the platforms. Just search for the Paranormal Portal.
Yep.
And then look for the Godfather episode, because that's Bob.
If you type in Paranormal Portal, you can't miss us.
If you miss us, you're not trying.
You're not looking. So Farm says, great conversation regardless of the dick interviewer.
Yeah, I know, and it's just neat to hear from their own mouths, and Roger especially, because I think Bob's story through the years has been carried on and told and retold, but for Rogers is all just an archive. And honestly, I'd heard Bob's tell his story many times through the years, but I'd never heard Roger before. Not before this. I had before this, but it's just really neat to hear him tell it as well. And unfortunately, one of the hardest things I think, and Bob kind of iterated this in the when Don and I were talking with him, it's just, Bob really had to take a lot of this, a lot of the critics and skepticism on the chin through the years, because of course Roger passed away.
Right.
And it's, I don't know. There's no doubt in my mind that those two gentlemen saw and recorded a living, breathing Sasquatch, and it's neat to hear the surrounding story about it as much as that interviewer would let them.
Right. Right. Yeah, sometimes you can't. Sometimes doing interviews, it's you have things that pop up into your head, and you don't want to forget them.
Yeah.
But you can't be interrupting and redirecting because it gets disjointed. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't really follow the situation. But Bob and
Roger.
Bob and Roger. They were able to keep to a point. And that's pretty, regardless of the redirections and such. So there you go.
Yeah, it really is. Really was cool, and just a fantastic job. Thank you, Wes, for letting us play that on the show. I appreciate that, and it was nice to just kick back and read what you guys were saying too. Yeah, I think everybody kind of had the same take on that. God, that guy's pushy.
Yeah.
And that was the nicer versions.
Yeah, no doubt.
So we got a lot more to get through here tonight. As always, we've got a ton of paranormal love sitting at our fingertips here. And one of the first ones I wanted to go through was, this is something that I've heard mentioned before. Have you ever heard about Parallel 33, the mysterious case? I've heard this mentioned before, and I found this article and I'm like, well, this will be kind of fun to go over. And sometimes it's not always directly paranormal in terms of ghosts, UFOs, cryptids, you fill in the blank. Sometimes it's just strange phenomena.
Well, our paranormal world.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
So this is an article I found on Curiosmos, and I'm trying to see, when was it? From 2019 by Ivan Petricevic. And this is the mysterious case of Parallel 33. And we're going to get into that now. So did you know that Jesus Christ was 33 years old at his death? The number 33 is also the most important degree that Freemasonry gives. 33 is the number of vertebrae that make up the human spine. The human foot has 33 joints.
I feel every one of those.
Especially when you stub them.
Yeah.
The Amen, is the numerical equivalent of 1 plus 13 plus 5 plus 14 equals 33. Some would say this is nothing more than coincidence. Others would say there is none at all. But various authors point out several interesting details about the number 33. And in this case, with Earth's parallels 33 north and 33 south. The circles of latitude are called parallels because they are parallel to each other. That is, any two parallels are everywhere at the same distance apart, and no, there isn't a mystery to that. But what exactly lies in these parallels may wake a certain degree of surprise in some. But before we jump into that, let's look at the number 33. Did you know that Jesus Christ was 33 years old at his death? I did.
Yep.
The number 33 is also the most important degree. They already went through this, the 33 joints, the equivalent of Amen.
By the way, that's gematria if you don't know
Sure.
what that is.
Yeah, gematria. And some authors have linked the location of certain structures located on these parallels with global mystery. A conspiracy, you say? Perhaps yes. Although it is still noteworthy mentioning. If we take a look at the northern hemisphere of the planet, Parallel 33 happens to run across a few major important cities in the United States, including Dallas, Los Angeles, Phoenix, and even the town of Roswell, which is a hotspot for the UFO phenomena. Phoenix is where a massive UFO sighting took place, which is today known as the Phoenix Lights. At Parallel 33 North from February 24th to early 25th, 1942 over Los Angeles, California, the so-called Battle of L.A. took place. Some people argue that the military fired anti-aircraft rounds at what some would say is a saucer-shaped flying object. See the image below.
Yep.
And it may be a coincidence, but Parallel 33 is where Roswell is found. But did you know that John F. Kennedy was assassinated on Parallel 33?
Wow.
Some have gone as far as to suggest that Parallel 33 was specifically chosen for Kennedy's assassination.
That is something you could control.
Yeah, for sure. But Robert Kennedy was also assassinated on Parallel 33 in the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles, and U.S. President Franklin Delano Roosevelt died near Parallel 33.
Wow.
Furthermore, Jesus Christ predicted his own death at Caesarea Philippi in the vicinity of the 33rd parallel. The first nuclear weapon was detonated at Alamogordo, New Mexico on Parallel 33. Oh, and did you know that it was the 33rd president of the United States that targeted 2 Japanese cities, both located near Parallel 33, with nuclear bombs? Parallel 33 acts as a junction of the rivers Tigris and Euphrates.
Oh, that's in the Fertile Crescent.
Right. It was there that where the ancient Sumerian civilization was centered, and where the Bible suggests the Garden of Eden was. I don't know if the Bible suggests that, but
well, that's if you follow the directions, it's in that. It's in the crooks where the Tigris and the Euphrates come.
Okay.
Anyhow, yeah.
The ancient city of Damascus, considered one of the oldest on the planet's surface, is also located on Parallel 33. The Book of Enoch, Mount Hermon, is where the Watcher class of fallen angels descended to Earth. Mount Hermon is also located on Parallel 33. It may all just be a massive cosmic coincidence, but it was worth sharing.
That's crazy.
It is kind of crazy when you start looking at all of those things. Now, could that be argued and said for any parallel? Like, well, every line has, I'm sure, a series of history and weird events.
Right.
Maybe it's, just that this is the focal point, but
where
I thought you were going to sing. I was like, what?
What is the line that connects the pyramids in Mexico and Egypt? What?
I don't know. That's a great question. But it is an interesting point. Numerology and gematria is by many considered to be a very real thing and very full of coincidences or possibilities. And so I don't know. I do think that numbers can be powerful. I really do. I always consider when I look at the clock and see a like 1111 or 333 or 555, any triple of the same digit, I always figure is some kind of, I don't know, some kind of visual omen. Maybe they mean something. And then a lot of times when I look at the clock and see a number like that, I'll then go to Google and say, what is the significance of, and then name the number, and you can find some pretty interesting claims. Hi, buddy.
For being a cat, you're sure a little bitchy thing.
He's like the Hannibal Lecter to mice, though.
Kidding. Oh,
I mean, he goes out he goes out every day and finds a mice and then punts them around the yard like they're a soccer ball. It's pretty intense. He's very good at his job.
At least he understands his job.
Yeah, he's definitely paying the rent, but the other one not so much. But yeah.
Mysterious alignment of ancient sites of the world.
Okay.
Giza, Swahi. Okay. The projection is the center of the access point of southeastern Alaska. Distances to any of the locations center and equal azimuth projection are equally scaled. Interesting.
J-Rock says 360 times 72 equals 25,690 equinox baby, 5,000 year intervals. I don't know what he's talking about, though. That's a little clip. It was the third attempt that they got JFK. Oh, it was the third attempt?
We believe so.
Oh, I did not know that. Okay, that's news to me, guys.
That's right. Yeah, the ley lines, triangles.
So Karen is talking about something too. It's a yeah, I don't know. I mean, there is a lot to do with numbers, though, and I think I don't remember who it was that said that the language of the universe is mathematics, and maybe that includes.
Carl Sagan.
Was it? Maybe it was.
I think it was.
It could very well be. I don't know. I just hear things and they get in my head. I don't often keep the attributions of them, though. It's just little things will pop out of my mouth. But I think it's interesting. And is there truth to this? I think there is. And now I also think that when you believe something is true, it can become valid to you. And that's not just a suggestion. I think that, perhaps we manifest the value of those things. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here as I'm talking, but I think it's interesting. 33rd parallel, ladies and gentlemen. And all of this strangeness happened on it. I would be curious, though, to see another study talking about other parallels and things that may have happened. What are you saying?
What it is it's not a straight line. It's the precession. It's the when it spins when the Earth spins on its axis, it wiggles, and when it wiggles, it creates a wave that it's not a line, but it's like a ley line. And when the precession happens, when it wiggles on its axis, it shifts that precession to go through these different points. Chichen Itza, Teotihuacan, Giza, and Devil's, the place in Arizona, Devil's Tower. So it creates this energy wave that goes through these places. So, there you go, global alignments. Anyhow.
Okay, very cool. Yeah, I didn't know about that. But I find this stuff very interesting, and you guys will have to let me know in the comments. Do you think there's power in these numbers as has been outlined in this article? Do you think it's just a bunch of coincidence or superstition, or what are your thoughts? I expect a whole host of different answers.
Wow. Hey, Wes, that's an interesting one.
What did he say?
He says, fun fact, the face on Mars is located at the 33rd degree parallel on Mars.
Ooh.
Bum, bum.
Bum, bum, bum. That's really cool. I guess maybe if there was an intelligence there that built that, then maybe that same intelligence was part of, beginning things here. That's really cool.
I believe that. I could believe that. I could very easily believe that.
Yeah, I do. I kind of do too. I don't know. It's anybody's guess, of course, but I think there's a strong.
Yeah, they blew their place up, so they came over here, and now we're blowing our place up.
Yeah, well, it's like bad tenants. When you rent properties, we're like the tenants from hell. But you know what? Maybe we'll continue and learn. But anyway, the next one I wanted to cover was actually oddly enough dealing with Mars. Thank you for the segue, Wes. And this is, when was this from? This is again from 2019. And I happen to be wearing the right shirt because I got my Star Trek shirt on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And apparently NASA spots Star Trek's logo on the surface of Mars. There you go, folks. Live long and prosper. This is again from June 14th, 29 by Ivan Petrochevic again. And it says, beam me up, Scotty. Throughout the years, we've seen some pretty crazy things on Mars. It says UFO hunters attribute some of the craziest things on Mars to past alien life on the red planet. Some have even proposed that there's intelligent life on Mars today. Some of the weirdest discoveries photographed by NASA's satellites and rovers on the ground fuel, that state of mind. In the wake of global UFO history, a new image from the surface of Mars has caused a new admiration for our neighboring red planet. While exploring Mars from the skies, the team of researchers in charge of NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter posted on their official Twitter account the image of a sand formation on the red planet, highlighting it in a comment. It appears to be eerily similar to the Starfleet logo of the Star Trek series, and who could blame them? It's pretty awesome, and the resemblance is uncanny, but it's no evidence of alien life. And no, the Enterprise really didn't crash on Mars. Instead, what we see in the images beamed back from the MRO is a dune formation, and the fact that we find it familiar is a result of pareidolia. Maybe, but there is similar ones around it, maybe smaller ones. I don't know. A Star Trekky dune. The odd formation is located in the southeast of the plain of Hellas Planitia and is the result of a complex history related to dunes, lava, and wind. As experts have explained it, a very long time ago there was a large crescent-shaped dunes on Mars dubbed the Barchan Dunes, and they were specifically sculpted to their particular form due to the wind on Mars, and as the lava flowed on Mars, it passed around them, creating weird shapes. As the lava cooled, it hardened. But it did so around the dunes. Martian winds continued to blow on the planet as the sand of the dunes scattered. It left behind the hardened lava, and that is precisely what we see in the photograph. Some of these dunes are reminiscent of things we have here on Earth. In this case, it was Star Trek and Starfleet's logo. The region where the odd shape was found is actually home to around 300 similar formations. And according to NASA, around 400 similar dunes were spotted by MRO in a region called Noctis Labyrinthus on Mars. Was it Night of Labyrinth or something? Okay. There you go. There is other images in there that seem to have the similar patterning. So sure, it's kind of neat though. Kind of fun to think about, folks. Right, Don?
Yes, it is.
I'm going to go to another video that I popped up, and this one kind of comes from what is it? 23 ABC News KBRO webpage or YouTube channel, and it's the possibility that somebody might have captured. They might have captured. Where the hell's the controls of this damn thing? Hold on, let me do this.
Southwest Bakersfield at 23
All right,
ABC.
Hold on, getting back to the beginning. Somebody may have captured UFOs on their Ring doorbell.
Wow.
So we're going to get to that now. So buckle up. It's going to get a little extraterrestrial up in here. And here we go.
Show me the aliens.
All right, here it is.
Southwest Bakersfield, a 23 ABC viewer sent this to our newsroom. You tell us what you think it is.
Yeah.
Right here. Ready? Right there.
Oh.
Bakersfield resident Tim Harvey sent it from his Ring camera. He lives in Hagen Oaks off Ming and Versace Drive. Says that the object descended from the south beyond the trees. And as you could see it in that video, then sort of whips through the sky right there in an instant. Leaving some kind of trail behind. Could it be a video effect or something? I don't know. BPD and the UFO Research Center have apparently been alerted. One more time. Both are stumped right there by the video.
Okay.
A little weird.
President Tim Harvey sent it from his Ring camera.
Here. I want to do this.
It's an a-hole. No, it's an a-hole. Look him up.
A D-hole.
No, look him up. A-holes.
Hold on, I want to get to, there it is. Okay. So I wanted to go through this frame by frame if we could and just see where does it actually enter the scene. And we're going backwards a little bit here because it doesn't, I don't know that it actually comes, I don't know if it's actually past the tree, but the thing is that these cameras do have an illumination point, and it could be this light down here. It could be an IR illuminator that's just, it's going to be in kind of a circular pattern. Right. The image itself is more rounded, but is this really it coming through the tree, or is it just this moth
when it enters
breaking? Yeah, right there. That's the first frame that it comes into existence right here. And so is that just where it managed to hit the beam enough to illuminate? And then there's 1, 2, these are double frames, so it moves one click every 2 frames. And of course the tracers have a lot to do with the sensors on these cameras. These cameras aren't really designed to pick up real high speed, it doesn't have a real high frame rate. And so you're getting artifacts. Is that truly outside of it's very much inside of the trees though, because the trees are behind here. This looks like a tree. Maybe it's a cloud. Maybe it's just a cloud formation. But let's continue and see where it goes. And then it comes through and is there. And those could just be flapping of the wings of a moth or something.
Right.
So.
And it can also just be, I don't have a hard time believing it could be a moth.
Here. Yeah.
Because, just because it's creating that chain effect, that could just be the tips of the wings.
Right.
And if it's a moth, it's got 2 sets of wings. It's got the 4 wings and the rest back wings. Just like a butterfly, right? So your front wings are moving at a different rhythm than the back wings. They don't move at the same time. They don't move at the same trajectory at the same time. So it could theoretically, I theoretically know, in my opinion, it could create figure eights or that chain effect because one wing's moving, the other one's moving in an opposite way.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
Well, there's the image. I don't know.
I'm a spoil sport.
No, you could be right. You could be absolutely right. This is kind of reminiscent of the rod photography.
Exactly,
That-
the rods. That's exactly what I was actually meant.
Yep.
Was the rods, air rods? Yeah.
Right, and those are most likely insects that were captured coming through a frame.
Probably actually are, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. There it comes into the frame. Again, I'm going to go faster this time forward, and you can see the trails are kind of dying out. I think this is just the sensor is keeping
Right.
keeping that it hasn't quite fully refreshed.
Right.
Is probably what it is, and so then it's trailing off and basically disappearing at this point. So whatever you believe, Mothra. I think it's a very small version of Mothra, maybe, but interesting enough.
So Wes says it's a moth flying through swamp gas reflecting off Uranus. It says Venus. Sorry,
Venus.
Venus.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think it's probably anything, but that's the problem with these cameras is they have a low refresh rate. They're not made to capture real fast moving things. They're made to see who the hell's at your door.
Right, exactly.
They're not surveillance cameras. They're not high,
Baby kaiju.
So I wouldn't get too excited from a video like this, but they are interesting, and perhaps some of the things captured on these could be very, very much could be legitimate. It's just something like that. Just definitely when you see that pattern, kind of going like this
Right.
with the light, that's most likely the wings flapping, and so it's catching a little bit of exposure from these flapping wings and leaves that marbly, the wavy pattern behind it. So I don't know, but cool.
Yeah, somebody asked, are air rods still a thing? And yeah, they still are, but I mean, they're not as widely, I guess they're not as common as other supposed cryptids, whether that be cryptids that are actually cryptids or cryptids that some people just see incorrectly, like air rods.
Right.
Because I just can't believe that air rods are a thing. I think they're just like this, a moth, some kind of a fly,
Sure.
an insect flying, or even falling for that matter.
Mhm.
Because it could be, you know what? There's an idea. There are certain types of spiders, arachnids, that will float on strings of
Like their own parachutes.
yeah, like parachutes, like string parachutes. So that could be an air rod as well if you catch it in the right light. There you go.
It's just hard to say, but
God, I'm just pooping on everything today, aren't I?
yeah, Don the skeptic.
Gosh.
Jeez, who brought you in?
Wow. No.
So I think those things are interesting, but probably not a lot of valid captures. And the other angle is maybe there are insects that haven't been identified yet that do actually travel quite fast.
Because I poop on you.
Yeah, and you wouldn't even know it. They'd be done pooping and gone before you even know it happened. So anyway, let's go to the next article I got here, and this one is from Thought Catalog, and this is it's a story I've never heard before, but it's from Thought Catalog. Wow. A Florida teen said a sea monster killed 4 of his friends.
Wow.
It's quite an old one. It's from 1962. It says in March of 1962, 5 Florida teens went on a 7-foot Air Force raft to skin dive and explore.
Oh, not skinny dip, skin dive.
No, skin
Gotcha.
dive. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And explore the semi-submerged shipwreck of the USS Massachusetts, which sits on a sandbar about 2 miles from shore in the Gulf of Mexico. Only one boy returned. The survivor, Brian McLeary, was 16 at the time, and his account of how 4 of his friends died that day is bizarre and disturbing. On the trip that day, Brian McLeary and his friends, who were all from the town of Fort Walton Beach, Florida.
Travis Walton Beach, Florida?
Fort Walton.
Fort Walton, sorry.
Yeah. Eric Ruyle. How do you say that? Royal, Bradford Rice, Warren Felly, and Larry Bill.
I just say rule.
Rule. Okay. McLeary says that the sunny Florida day suddenly turned dark and stormy while the friends were in the raft. Then the newly turbulent waters started to carry the raft out to sea. The boys tried to attach their raft to a buoy but were unable to do so, and at that point, the boys left the raft to attempt to swim to shore. According to McLeary, a fog appeared, and from the fog emerged a sea monster. Brian's friends were picked off one by one by the sea monster. It's actually linked. I don't know why. Brian was found asleep on the shore the next day, and when interviewed by police, he drew the following picture of the sea monster he says he and his friends encountered. And there's a buoy right there, too. So it must have been right by the buoy, huh? Anyway,
I'm trying to think of something smart ass to say, but it ain't coming. I ain't got one.
Investigating Brian's story revealed that the sea monster he saw looked a lot like a character named Cecil, the seasick sea serpent from a children's cartoon that had recently aired in the months before the diving trip. It's a nice distraction, isn't? What? Paranormal Portals. I'm glad you're distracted. Good. Keep coming back and getting distracted. The children's cartoon had recently aired in the months before the diving trip, and the boy's body was eventually found. And it was determined he died from drowning and had no injuries that might be from a sea monster attack.
Well, the sea monster doesn't have teeth.
Well, he couldn't eat all of them, probably.
Yeah,
He got full.
Hey, he accidentally gulped him down with
Brian published a detailed version of his story, My Escape from a Sea Monster. I stayed up all night coming up with that title. In the May 1965 issue of Fate magazine. After a time, the wind and the rain and the waves subsided and a thick fog rolled in. McCleary describes the silence and stillness, writing, "Not a wave rippled and not a fish broke the water. Not a seagull called." He said that for the first time in his life, he was really scared. Rice said, "We're dead. We died in that storm." But Rule assured him they would be fine. Visibility was limited to 25 feet and there was no wind. McCleary says the water was unusually warm. Larry suddenly said, "Shh, I hear a boat or something." As they listened, the air became filled with the odor of dead fish. They heard a large splash about 40 feet away. The wave that followed was large enough to break over the side of the raft. They heard a second splash and thought the fog through the fog were able to make out an object that looked like a telephone pole with a bulb on top, and it was about 10 feet out of the water. Then the object bent in half and dove under the water. There was a period of silence followed by a high-pitched whine coming out of the fog. At this point, the boys panicked. They put on their fins and dove into the water. The surface was covered with patches of brown, crusty slime. The group swam towards the wreck, with McCleary and Royal at the lead. Behind them, they could hear splashing and hissing. Although the fog was clearing, it had begun to rain again, and it was getting dark, and the waves were picking up. The first scream lasted maybe half a minute, Felly cried. "It's got Brad!" His voice was suddenly cut off. McCleary yelled back to Felly and Rice, but there was no response. Bill was now swimming with Rule and McCleary. Some time passed before McCleary became aware that Bill was no longer with them. Then a flash of lightning revealed the wreck of the Massachusetts. Another flash revealed Royal swimming ahead of McCleary towards the ship. Then the telephone pole creature surfaced next to Royal. It had two small eyes. It opened its mouth and fell upon Royal and disappearing with him below the surface. Somehow McCleary made it to the shore, although he doesn't remember how. Next, he woke up in Pensacola Naval Base Hospital. The full Fate magazine story can be viewed on Imager here. Brian McCleary was depressed in the months after the event as no one would believe him. The trauma of what happened late that day led to addictions to drugs and alcohol, and he died in 2017, taking with him the truth of whatever happened on that day in 1962. One theory is that the bubble of methane gas could have caused the incident. As one true crime reader theorizes, there have been theories of that methane is the thing that sinks ships and even takes down planes in places like the Bermuda Triangle. Lake Kivu in Africa is another example of methane fog and explosions. If you look at videos of methane bubbles, YouTube's an easy place to find them. They stir up sediment and combine with the gas itself. There's a kind of fog. The bubble isn't weather, more like a short event that most of the time goes unnoticed. So there would have been no fog or storm in the area records for that day. The monster could have been a creature brought to the surface by the bubble stream of methane. The gas can also cause hallucinations, so maybe the monster was a hallucination.
Wow, so I don't have to debunk that at all.
So this must be the methane. Oh, this is the the wreck that they're talking about, but we're not going to watch the Discovery Channel. It's also possible that something much more normal happened to Brian and his friends, like simply drowning in turbulent waters, stumbling across drug smugglers, and meeting a violent end. Brian's brain may have rewritten the events as something that was easier to comprehend, like a monster he saw on TV attacking his friends. While it sounds strange, the theory matches other recorded events and what we know about memory works. What we know about how memory works, rather. Sorry. Another theory is that the boys had encountered a North Atlantic right whale, which would be terrifying to encounter from a raft.
Yes.
It rises mysteriously up out of the water, glides along, turns side to side sometimes, sinks back down without a trace. In the right or wrong light, the baleen can look almost invisible, and all you see is a skimpy top part, which looks remarkably like a neck and head, rather. In fact, a couple of years ago, there was a sea serpent report plus YouTube video taken by some exciting boaters in Ireland, which turned out to be a narwhal, what? N-A-R-W. I don't know. Is that a narwhal?
I think they did not finish that. So
Okay.
let me look it up. So.
It must be a narwhal or something. Rare now in Ireland, but historically used to occur there.
Oh.
In the video, the boaters are totally freaking out about it. The size, 10 feet long, and motion, rising up and gliding along, sinking back down, matches McCleary's description. And NARW do occur off Florida in the month that he saw it, March. And they were still quite rare in the 1960s, and we had not yet discovered their calving grounds. Turned out they calve off of Florida, in fact. So it would have been a rare enough sighting that McCleary wouldn't have known this was possible explanation.
An NARW is a North Atlantic right whale.
Oh, okay. Well,
And
I guess they gave me it.
very rare.
Rare?
Yes.
Okay. So this is one of them, yeah. So we can look at this quickly, I guess. It's only 54 seconds.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, that does look creepy.
Yeah. I would think that would
Yeah.
qualify. Because that's the same way baleen whales eat, but they usually don't come up to the surface to do it. But that is wild. Yeah, see that stripe going down its back?
Sure.
That's wild. Yeah. I could see that being
Mistaken,
yeah, especially at night.
Look at how big the bottom jaw is, and then there's this top part.
Yeah.
It's very misleading.
It looks like a dinosaur head, doesn't it?
It really does.
It does, yeah.
It does look like
and
a
then,
Nessie.
then a long neck, and then a plesiosaur, exactly.
Sure. Wow, that could be
that's incredible.
That really is. They're huge. Okay. Well, we learned something new. It said,
wow.
If I were swimming on swimming or on a small raft with my friends and saw this whale, even if I knew it was a whale, I would freak out. I had absolutely no idea this was a whale or any kind of known creature. I might absolutely assume it is a human-eating sea monster that no one else had encountered. After swimming for survival and making it to the sandbar without my friends, and then spending the night there alone, I can only imagine what my account of the events would sound like to someone who wasn't there. Whatever happened to Brian McCleary and his friends, it's a tragic end to what is supposed to be a fun day of adventuring and exploration. Right. That is creepy, though.
Wow, yeah. That is crazy. I could totally believe that. You know, you would imagine that could be about the same size as a buoy. I mean, if they're that big.
Yeah.
You know, crazy.
That was crazy. I mean, that's a big creature, especially that feeding part.
Yeah.
Like,
that's like its nose up in the air. That's what that is. Oh, that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
But just the way that
incredible.
Oof.
And then it bounced like that. So yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That really is a pretty haunting picture.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's merit to that then. Yeah. Looks like they can really open their mouths.
I'm like gobsmacked. That's amazing.
Right. Yeah. That's not what you would expect to see. Huh. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Is it a sea monster? Nope. It's a right whale. Right whale?
I guess there's a southern right whale as well.
Okay.
Maggie says
can they both be right?
Wow. Two rights always make a right. Don't make a
two
right.
Makes two rights.
It can't be wrong. Two rights can't be wrong.
Two rights can't be a left. Can it?
These two right wheels.
Bum.
There you go. Anyhow.
All right. Well,
that was amazing.
That was really amazing. All right, I got to look at the time here and see where we're at. We're at 22 after. Wow. Where's the time gone, Don?
If I could save time.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay, we're going to go to Phantoms and Monsters now for a couple of strange reports of creatures and cryptids from Lon Strickler's Phantoms and Monsters. Great site, ladies and gentlemen. Check it out. And you might learn something. You definitely probably should learn something. But there's a lot of great reports there. There's research efforts. Lon is a published author and has his own podcast, which is called Phantoms and Monsters Radio.
JPPM's mad at us.
Why?
He says, you guys are debunking all this stuff tonight.
Well, I think it's, it's... Yeah, sorry.
We gotta call BS when we see BS, We gotta point out what we know.
We gotta call the balls and the strikes,
That's right, yeah. Hopefully more strikes than balls.
All right, so we're going to go to Phantoms and Monsters and cover a story of a large red gargoyle carrying a body or carcass reported in Santiago, Chile.
Wow. No, Eliza.
What?
Don does not busk anything.
What is busking? I
Busking.
know that word.
It's when you're sitting on the street corner playing music, and the monkey song. What's it called?
No.
The monkey. It's got really popular. It's a gal. She's Australian, I think. The monkey song. What's the name of the monkey song?
Somebody help poor
Dance
Don.
Monkey.
Oh,
Dance
okay.
Monkey. Dance Monkey. Dance Monkey. Dance Monkey.
Okay.
Yeah. She was found on street corner singing that song.
Oh, really?
And that's how she got famous.
Oh,
that's
okay.
busking. She was a
That's
busker.
busking. I was kicked out of a park in New Orleans for apparently busking when I didn't know I was busking.
What was you busking?
I was playing my guitar and just hanging out in the park, right in Jackson Square, and
just chilling
in the French Quarter, and I didn't know you couldn't do it. But the cop showed up and said, "You got to get out of here." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, you can't be in here playing your guitar." So.
Dude, I'm just sitting here playing. I'm
It
not
was,
like
it was in
panhandling.
New Orleans, for God's
Yeah,
sake.
exactly.
I mean, that's some of the most amazing music in the world, and musicians are incredible. So I was just hanging out.
I do not like Zydeco music.
Zydeco? I love Zydeco.
I hate Zydeco.
Oh, I used to like Zydeco.
Well, whatever.
I've got a couple of CDs somewhere, or did have. But yeah, Zydeco's fun. It's good party music. Or it was then.
I like ska. I've always liked ska.
So let's check out the story of a large red gargoyle.
Yes.
Carrying a body or carcass.
In Chile.
Or carcass.
It was
We're
in
not
Chile.
sure which.
Yeah.
In Chile. All right. A witness in Santiago, Chile, is on a terrace and observes a large gargoyle-like being flying towards him. As it approaches, he notices that it has a human body or animal in its grasp.
Wow.
That's kind of a big spectrum there. It's either a human body or an animal. So in other words, it's carrying something you don't know what it is.
Right. Yeah.
It was either a person or a deer.
It could be a cow.
It could be a cow. The following account was recently reported by Albert S. Rosales. Location, Santiago, Chile, December 1999. The time was 2300 hours.
Wow, yeah, because you were partying like it was 1999 right then.
In Chile. The main witness, MJ, was visiting the house of some friends located on El Bosque Street near the Pocuro section on the fourth floor apartment. After having dinner, he stepped out onto the terrace balcony and began taking in the view of the nearby Cordillera, I guess. Totally relaxed, he perceived at a distance of about 1,000 to 1,500 meters and at about 100 to 300 meters in altitude, a large red object that appeared to be approaching, which at first he thought was a small plane, or more exactly an old two-seater vintage model, which were used a lot during the 50s. He was curious as to why such an aircraft would be flying so low. Concerned, he thought that the pilot was lost as it was flying dangerously close to the buildings. Moments as the object came closer, the witness was stunned to see that the wings appeared to be flapping up and down. The wings were long, approximately 4 meters in length. Stunned, he could now see that the object was really some type of red-colored, winged creature which moved in a sort of zigzagging motion, always following the same track, and suddenly the strange creature was now in front of the witness at a distance of about 50 meters, but maintaining the same height, parallel to Bilbao Street. Bilbao. At this point, the witness noticed that the creature's body appeared to be divided into two sections. The top section was less maneuverable and more rigid, while the bottom section was in constant motion. Terrified, the witness thought he could make out a huge claw-like protrusions on the creature's feet, which appeared to be indeed carrying something, which the witness, what does it say? AS1? Okay. Which the witness thought could have been a human body. As the creature flew by, moving swiftly away from the witness, he remembers that there was a large window on the other side of the apartment from which he could still be able to see the bizarre flying creature, so he yelled out to his friends, "UFO, UFO," and ran towards the window. He managed to catch a glimpse of the creature again, but in an instant, it vanished behind some buildings. His observation lasted about 30 to 40 seconds.
Wow.
Later, the witness commented that what he had seen with close friends and contacted the source, convinced that he had seen some type of gargoyle-type creature carrying a helpless victim, which the witness admitted it could have also been a large animal. Let's hope. Yeah, that's creepy. Oh, there's kind of a depiction here. That looks like something out of D&D, doesn't it? Right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Oh, speaking of, I just ordered all of the 5th edition books, so
Oh, well.
I'm going to start playing D&D again.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, very cool. This is what he saw. That looks not like I would have expected, I guess.
It looks kind of like Jeepers Creepers /
I never saw that.
Mothman.
Okay,
So,
Mothman, yeah.
Yeah, Jeepers Creepers is what comes to mind, yeah.
Or a vampire.
Wes said something about picking his big ass up somewhere. Says, I don't worry about flying gargoyles. I figure if I can fly down and pick up my big butt, it's earned. If it flies down and picks up his big butt, it earned his big butt. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah.
All right, well, we got a call, so let's see what's going on here. And this is from area code 417. You're on the
I
horn.
think it's Ruger.
It is.
It is. It's me.
How you doing, brother?
You guys mentioned airplanes,
Yeah.
and I wanted to tell you this story because basically I've got so much going on here right now that I will probably forget it if I don't tell you.
By all means.
Last night, this morning at 1:30, something a little bit after 1, something hit the house.
Oh.
Now, the house gets slapped every now and then, but it's, to me, it's not that big a deal.
Okay.
I looked and I walked around the house. I couldn't find any rocks, any slaps or nothing. But something sounded like it hit the house. Well, we have a cat that weighs 27 pounds.
Wow.
Ooh, that's a big cat.
And it likes to swan dive off furniture when it's not supposed to. So, I get up and I walk through the house to see what's going on, and all the cats are out like a light. So I thought, well, I'll go back here and smoke and see if it happens again. So I go in the spare bedroom and turn on the light so I didn't wake the wife up, and I'm sitting there. And this airplane starts coming over. And it sounds just like a low plane. Just, it's a plane. That's exactly what it is. I know exactly what that sound is. It's a plane. And it got right over the house and just went, whoop.
Just stop.
It just stopped, buddy. Yeah, it was just, whoa. There was no trailing off. It didn't get far away. It just run up there and quit.
Oh, man.
And I heard what, it sounded like, okay, what is that noise? Oh, that's a plane. Okay, well, here comes a plane. Boy, it's getting pretty close. That plane just stopped right over the house.
Ooh.
And now I'm wondering if it was a growl.
Oh.
Because there was no fluctuation in it or anything. I mean, it was a plane. If it hadn't have stopped, I'd have went back to bed because it was a plane.
Right.
But it literally just quit, just like you flipped a switch, man.
How long did it last?
And it lasted probably 15, 20 seconds.
That's quite a long time.
I mean, it was like, it's quite a long time, But I really wasn't paying attention because it was a plane.
Right.
So
here it comes. Oh, what is it? Oh, that's a plane. Okay. Well, that plane got right over the house and just shut the engines off, man.
Wow.
Yeah, it was weird.
That's
So you mentioned planes, so I figured I'd give you an update.
You know, I got a question though, because they say the black mantas, the TR3Bs, they say that they can move with like within a cone of silence. I wonder, was this at night, Ruger?
Yeah, it was like it was 1:30 this morning.
So I wonder if it was because you're down in Arizona. Oh
No, he's not.
No, no.
Where are you at?
No, I'm in Missouri, man.
Oh, you're in Missouri.
I'm in the sticks of Missouri, yeah.
Oh, you know what? That would actually make sense too. But I was wondering, I wonder if like you heard it coming and it got over the house, because this is the reason I ask, is because Art Bell said that he was coming home from Vegas one time to Pahrump, where him and his wife Ramona lived at the time. And he said that the only reason he knew there was something hovering above him or coming near him was because he heard it, and then he didn't hear it anymore. And then he got out of his car, him and Ramona got out of his car and looked up, and they saw a triangular-shaped craft pass over with no noise. But if I remember right, he reported that he heard some kind of noise, like an airplane or something like that, and then it just stopped.
Did you have any visual confirmation of the thing, or just a noise?
No, just the noise.
Wow.
Just the noise.
Yeah, you know, that wouldn't.
But I was
surprise me.
convinced. Okay, that makes sense too.
Yeah.
You know, to me it was a plane and it just stopped.
Did it sound like a propeller plane or a jet?
No, it sounded like a jet.
Oh,
Yeah,
it did.
yeah.
Okay.
It sounded like a halfway low jet.
Wow.
But
Jeez.
it was getting louder as it came over, you know.
Right.
Which we've got a military base up here in the middle of the state,
Uh-huh.
Fort Leonard Wood,
Yeah.
you know.
Fort
So
Lost in the Woods.
we have aircraft come over from time to time.
Okay.
And of course choppers are everywhere now.
Everywhere, yep.
Yeah. Wow.
But
Yeah, Fort Lost in
No,
the
I
Woods,
didn't see
Missouri.
it.
Yep. Wow, that's
if I
incredible, though.
if I hear it again, I'll be outside looking for triangles in my BVDs.
Hope you don't find any in your BVDs.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, if I see one, we might.
Right, yeah.
I'll
wow.
take pics.
Oh, well,
Oh!
better start an OnlyFans there, buddy. That's awesome, man.
All
I
right.
Wow.
appreciate you calling
Yeah,
in, brother.
it was weird.
That's
it was
weird.
weird, man.
That's really weird.
All right, guys. We'll see you.
All right. Good night. Thanks for calling.
Later.
So, talking about BVDs and taking pics, I was sending a GIF to a person today on my phone, right? I'm like, GIF, fat guy, right? Right? And all these little GIFs on my phone pop up. I'm like, oh my God, that's Ron Jeremy in a thong.
No. That should.
I was like, oh my God. So I sent it.
Who's Ron Jeremy?
Ron Jeremy?
No, I'm joking.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Wow.
I was trying to retain my innocence here, but I know.
Commonly referred to as the hedgehog.
Oh, jeez.
It was him in a thong. He's
Oh.
like, because he's not a skinny guy. He wasn't a
No,
skinny guy.
he's a.
I was like, oh my goodness.
That's wow.
Wes had a question though. He asked, where you sold a dog and told it was a cat because that was a big cat. Sold a small dog. Yeah, this is a cat, buddy.
27 pounds. That's pretty much in dog category. I think you're right, Wes. I don't think that qualifies as cat anymore, but that's a big animal. Pump, jumping down, swan diving. As he said, swan diving. We got another call, so let's see who's here.
Call, all right.
All right, and this is coming from 503.
Oh, it's Thomas K.
Hi, Tom.
Hello?
Are you there?
Am I on the line?
You are on.
Hello?
You're officially on. How you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing good. Hey, listen, you guys were talking about the TR3Bs, and
Yeah.
I had a weird situation when I was about 18, 19 years old, down in Lyons, Oregon, and I was walking out of my grandparents' house when across the street, not too far above the house across the street, I seen one of those damn things. Every detail was ingrained in my mind. I stood there staring at it. Triangular shape, but on the edges of the triangle it was flat. and there was a light on each side of that flat. So 3 lights, one on each flat point of the triangle. And underneath of that thing was a round, like a round window-looking thing that was bright, translucent light.
Oh, wow.
But the thing made not a single noise. It just floated along. I stood there for a few seconds staring at it, my mouth agape.
Right.
Turned around. My grandparents' porch is about 3 feet long, so I turned back around and I screamed at them, "Come look at this! Come look at this!" My grandparents. He was in World War II, and my grandma's elderly, and they were, so they were both just really, really elderly. They couldn't really get up fast enough to see it, but by the time I hollered at them and I turned back around and I looked up above where it was, the damn thing was gone.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
So do you think you think it was probably one of the man-made ones? I mean, just obviously you can't know, but was that your take on it?
I don't think it was man-made. I really don't. I mean, maybe it was, but I don't think so. I believe that we don't really have anything
Wow.
that's quite capable of that, other than a blimp.
Yeah.
I've never seen a flat blimp.
You never see me laying down, have you?
Oh my God.
I've seen some things in my time, but never that.
And God bless you, because you don't want to. You'll never forget it. That's really cool, though.
Come on, man. I'm snuggling.
Oh, well, yeah. I have needs.
Oh.
Well, what happens amongst friends stays amongst friends.
Unless you're live on a podcast.
Well, yeah. What do you think we're going to...
I'm telling you right now,
What's that?
Don's face sounds like it's red.
What's that?
Don's face sounds like it's red.
It's because I can't breathe from laughing.
Will you just snuggle me?
Oh, jeez. All right. Well, listen, we got to go.
Wow. Wow.
But thanks for
well,
calling.
you guys have a good night, and thanks for entertaining me.
All right, brother. Thanks for calling in. Talk to you later.
Yep. Bye.
Thomas said in the chat earlier, he says, I can't believe that my 2 favorite podcasters are friends.
Oh,
it's like, yeah, Wes hangs out with us as much as he can. We appreciate it.
Yeah, that's
and
really
of course,
cool.
we're always talking about that guy, so
Yeah, yeah. I was thinking about Ruger and his BVDs, and I was just thinking,
yeah, you know what?
if you find a,
you're actually thinking about Ruger in his BVDs.
Yeah, I can't help it. It's just it's tattooed in there now. I don't know what that looks like, but I mean, your mind does things. Just so long as you don't find any Tic Tac.
Oh, chocolate one.
Oh, Jesus.
I didn't know they made chocolate Tic Tacs.
Most likely you see a cigar craft there.
That's a straight Cuban right there.
Oh, no.
Wonder Woman says, Ruger in UFO Speedos and cowboy boots running around in the brush with the selfie stick.
Just some things that shouldn't be allowed. I don't know, Ruger, what you look like and all that, but
Wes, Don all offended after telling everyone about his favorite porn star.
If you're new to the show, this is all you can expect. Just so you know.
Tonight had to turn goofy. That was just all there is to it.
It's a moral imperative.
Wes says too much male bonding going on.
Yeah, it gets downhill in a hurry around here. So
hurry, it's almost over.
I know. Well, yeah, that's true. We did better than usually. We usually hit this stride at about 10 minutes in.
Oh, man. Oh, Ruthie. Ruthie says, Wes, I can smell the testosterone from here. You're only about 300 miles from us.
That's right. Well, apparently it carries pretty good. I think we're well represented with all of the genders here, but thank you all. I'm so sorry to anybody new to the show. It's probably you
Hi,
learned this
Lady
fast.
Death. How are you?
Hey, Lady Death. Good to see you.
How you doing?
Thanks for coming in. Oh, there's Lucifer too. Good to see
Yep,
you. Who's
yep.
here, Don? You don't want to do some shout outs?
Yeah,
Let's do some shout outs
real quick now that So we got 1325 Dix Drive Nice name. Absolute Death, Aggravated Progressive, Dr. Manhattan, Elaine's here, Eliza. I thought Eliza was going to leave, but anyhow, good night if you did. Let's see, Ghost Magnets here, JPPM, Lady Death just stepped in. She's Lucid Curios. Alicia Hart.
Okay.
Hughes.
Hughes, yeah.
Gosh, 3 people just popped in. Let's see.
Very cool.
Spot. Justin's here. How you doing, Justin? Lucifer's here. Maggie. Hi, Maggie. Rachel gets it right. Ron the Sage. Ruger Ridge. Ruthie's here. Wes. Oh, there's Sheldon. Hi, Sheldon. What's up? Susie to Anyone and Wonder Woman. Now, let's see if I missed anybody that... Nope, I think that's it. Oh, and The Unknown. There you go. Susie to Anyone is here also.
Excellent. Well, thank you all for being here. Of course, it's just it's epically fun here in the portal, and it's always more fun when you guys, join in.
Yeah.
Call in if you got something to share. We'd love to hear from you. The phone lines are always open here on the portal.
Oh, and Karen. Hi, Karen.
Hi, Karen.
We can't forget Karen.
Oh, no. We'd never forget Karen.
Not.
Karen's gone out of her way to meet us a few times.
A couple times.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you? Tell the hubby hi.
Hope everything's going good for you guys.
Absolutely.
Okay, so there is more of this, and I guess with about 15 minutes left.
What? He has a cat that weighs 27 pounds and a cat that has 23 toes.
Oh.
What are these alien experiments?
Wow.
Ruger, do you have alien experiments going on in your house?
Polydactyl. Wow.
Jeez.
That's intense. Well, I got another one from Phantoms and Monsters here for you guys. And this one has what's this fun show? This one, thank you, Maggie.
Yay, members for 2 months. Oops. Yay. She's 2 months old.
Awesome. All right, so we got another one from Phantoms and Monsters here, and this one sounds, for those of you that are into the Dog Man, this will be right up your alley. So this is, again, Phantoms and Monsters, 2 werewolf encounters reported in Camp Douglas, Fort McCoy, Wisconsin. Oof, werewolves. It's funny because, some people call them Dogman, some people call them werewolves, some, I don't know. I assume they're probably the same thing, just for the record. But I guess there's just terms of usage. So
there you go. 2
werewolf encounters. It said 2 members of the same family observe a werewolf-like creature in the same area 5 years apart.
Wow.
Oof. The incidents took place in the Camp Douglas, Fort McCoy region of Wisconsin. This is an original report I received a few years ago. That's awesome. It says, my mother is certain that there is some kind of monster that resembles a werewolf in the Camp Douglas, Fort McCoy region of Wisconsin. When the decade of the 90s came to a close, Mom and her boyfriend were traveling between Toma and Sparta on the frontage road that ran parallel to the highway. It was a night in the autumn when the moon is full in view, and I refer to it as the frontage road, but due to the presence of trees, it's not often visible to the adjacent freeway. They see what they believe to be a very enormous guy emerge from the forest on all fours and make a successful jump over the chain link and barbed wire fence that surrounds the military installation. This walled-off area that is surrounded by a fence and has a sign indicating what it is for and whose army base it is a part of has a stone entry wall. The monster jumps over the chain link barbed wire fence and vanishes into the surrounding forest. It had ears similar to those of a human, but more like those of a dog. They don't stop, but when they see whatever it is, they stress out and ask the other passengers whether they saw it. Oh, thank you. That's cool. Getting all these 2-month notifications. Thank you, guys. About 5 years later, my dad's cousin, who had never met my mother due to the fact that the family was fractured, was telling me about the time he and his girlfriend had been on the frontage road while traveling out to look at a house they were interested in purchasing. It was becoming dark during the winter, and they go quite near to this stone entryway thing, and there's something perched over it. They halted down and glanced at it before continuing. They claimed it to be a werewolf since it was perched on its haunches on the stone wall and staring directly at them. It seems to be considering a chase, as seen by the way its ears move backward in a manner similar to that of a dog. His wife shouts, but he ignores her and continues driving. They continued on their way, never detouring to look at the home on the way back to the highway. What really gets under my skin is that 2 sightings took place years apart, and a total of at least 6 adults witnessed it. Some of them, in my opinion, would absolutely adore to be able to state that they witnessed anything similar to this, but not all of them are as fantastical as this. In spite of this, when I needed to drive to Fort McCoy to obtain my CAC, and the group of us from my work got lost on the route in this forested region, I couldn't help but peek into the trees just in case I spotted it there.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, that's two sightings in the similar location, but
Right.
that is creepy. I don't know. I mean, are these things attached to the military in some way? There's a lot of people that believe so. They believe that these quote unquote dogmen are engineered,
Right.
perhaps.
Yeah.
And I could only guess what's going on behind closed doors in the military, but it does seem like a pretty fantastical claim.
True.
But I don't know. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments, or let us know in the chat if you have an opinion about that. But
Well, see, there's a problem though.
what's that?
Is they're talking about cats.
Oh.
And so now cats, I don't know if they're talking about cats being pure evil or if they're talking about this being evil. So I'm kind of confused. Those aren't cats. They're the Goon Squad, the Princess Bride. Those aren't cats. Those are the Goon Squad. I am the Goon Squad. I'm on the Goon Squad. You are the Goon Squad.
Nice.
All right. So anyhow, yeah, I'm confused. So yeah. I'm really
Welcome to the show.
Elaine says, "Let's be real. Cats are evil, and they're constantly plotting our demise." Yes, that's true.
Yeah. Well, like I
Tis
said,
true.
my little white fluffy
Yeah.
one, he's a nightmare to any mice. I mean, he's going out of his way to find them. Like, he's going
Right.
outside hunting them. So I'm just confident when the weather cools down, there will be no mice in this house. He will do mouse-cide or I don't know what it is. What would you call it when they
Vermicide.
vermicide? Yeah, that's a good one. So cool story, and especially thanks again to Lon. I want to.
Oh, wow, that's interesting. Cats are adorable and they help protect against evil spirits, said Lucifer S. Morningstar.
He's the morning star. Here's another one from Phantoms and Monsters. I don't know if we can get through it. I guess we can get through this and then call it a night.
Yeah.
Tall, stick-like humanoid recorded in Ronceverte, West Virginia.
Oh.
I don't know how to say that.
That's
Ronceverte
a big one.
Ronceverte in West Virginia video captures. So there's actually video evidence. In July 2014, Lorian Butler was outside filming the field across from her house in West Virginia. And years later, when she checked the video, a stick-like humanoid appeared. The following account was present on the television show Paranormal Caught on Camera. In July 2014, at around dusk, Lorian Butler was outside filming some deer in a field across from her house in West Virginia. Later, she uploaded her footage to her home computer and forgot about it. On January 2020, Lorian decided to go through some of her footage and noticed something very peculiar. That video that she had filmed of the deer, a tall, stick-like figure can be seen running across the field in the back part of the field, seemingly from one tree to another. Lorian was understandably shocked by what she saw and continued to examine the footage, looking for an explanation. I noticed something moving, and I couldn't figure out what it was. It looked really eerie, and it definitely wasn't a person. It's frightening to look at it. It looks like a very tall, dark figure up on stilts walking through the field, and I guarantee you there was no one on stilts anywhere, and I've never noticed anything. Everything was just normal, just fine. And there's a couple of captures. Oh, yeah. Oh, I thought it was this. What is... She's circling something over here. And again, we don't have the moving video, so it's really hard to see. But there is a fuzzy line of something there.
I think there's like, she said it was moving between them, so I wonder if it's going back and forth, or if there was two.
I don't know. Well, let's keep going. In the footage, which lasts only a couple of seconds, the tall stick figure appears to run across the field, then out of frame. It briefly reappears moments later, and then it vanishes for good. A closer inspection reveals what looks like a second, similar-looking stick figure following behind it.
There you go.
Brian Kano, a paranormal researcher and one of the hosts of the show Paranormal Caught on Camera noted, it appears to be tall, skinny, almost impossibly so. And the way it moves is not quite natural. It's almost cartoonish in nature. And at one point, it disappears from view. It blends into the background, and later, as she pans over it, it appears again. And then you see something very similar, almost another of its kind, follow it. And then both disappear, only to be seen a third time as it pops into view and disappears. Derek Hayes of the Monsters Among Us podcast, another host on Paranormal Caught on Camera, wondered if it's possible that the camera was able to pick up what the naked eye couldn't.
Of course.
As Lorian is adamant that she saw nothing unusual on the day she recorded her video. Certainly she would have noticed two 15-foot entities strolling across the field. Yeah, you'd think, oh, here we go. This is maybe a better capture. That's weird.
So, wow, we got some really sarcastic people in our chat.
Yeah. The producers of the Paranormal Caught on Tape, which featured the footage on an episode in October 2021, seemed to want to label the creature as a Slender Man, a fictional internet creation, hinting that Lorian may have accidentally recorded a tulpa, which had been willed into existence by people's thoughts. In some cultures, people believe that things can be manifested into reality by thoughts alone. Whether or not this is a Slender Man or a tulpa is definitely up for debate. What isn't, however, is that Lorian Butler definitely recorded two very strange, very tall somethings, possibly stick people. One night in July 2014, Lorian has not seen or recorded the creature since, but sometimes worries that they might come back. That's, Lon says, I'm not sure what was captured on video, but it may have been a manifestation, usually not seen by the naked eye. Possibly an elemental being. The screen capture does not do it justice. I suggest you go to the television episode and watch it and form your own opinion. Very interesting nonetheless.
I might have to do that.
That would be really cool because I've seen through the years, I've seen video footage of figures like this, and it's very rare, but is it a fake? I don't know. I mean, I like the older, grainier footage personally because especially the ones that come out of like other countries
because you can tell if it's been engineered,
right? When it's that old cheap cameras and stuff, it's really hard to blend things to look like they belong in the footage,
right?
Especially from a CG perspective, it's tough to make things match anyway.
Elaine says, I don't like stick figures. They're too hard to shoot. Too skinny. I need rotund human figures.
Yeah, just start flicking matches at them.
Exactly. Rachel says, if the cryptid was a shtick man, he'd be throwing cream pies at witnesses.
Ooh.
Shtick man.
It's all shticky out there.
Nice. And Elaine says something about cream pies, but we'll leave that one alone.
I can't believe you leave that alone, Don.
I know.
Totally.
Oh, hold on. I got to get this porn bot out. Oops. Put user in timeout. Okay, not timeout. Hide user on channel. There we go.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah. Well, I guess you're making progress when you attract the bots.
Yeah.
When you get bots, you know that you're making a name.
Thank you, Elaine. She got him before I did.
Oh, thank you, Elaine.
Got it. Like to get him.
Very cool. I think that's an interesting article. I do think that there's possibility that the camera would capture something that you wouldn't see with your eye. And it could be vibrational, it could be resonance, it could be an extra dimensional kind of thing that just doesn't pull through. Maybe it's a fourth dimensional entity, maybe it's a two-dimensional entity.
Two-dimensional, that would actually make sense.
Right, because it's very, very tall and slim. So I don't know. It's hard to say for sure what it could be, but I think there's things out there, folks.
True.
It's kind of the meat and taters of the portal, actually. So,
what? Wayne says, I may be drinking, but I'm still quick on the draw. God, I love you.
Nice shooting, Tex.
You're awesome.
Well done. Yep. Keeping going. Got the best mods in the business here, I'm telling you. But I think these are fantastic. They're very fascinating things. So, but I think we're out of time.
There you go. Yeah, unfortunate but true, huh?
It's gone quickly, folks.
Gone quickly.
Thank you to the callers. That was fun to talk to you guys. Thanks so much for calling in and being a part of the conversation. Good to see you all. We really appreciate all of you guys stopping in when you can. And thank you to those of you that watch these videos at other times because you can't make the live shows. And in any case, please continue to let people know about the show. You hear Pikachu? He's just going. He's like, he wants to eat. But that's going to wrap it up for us, folks. So just remember, Don, anything in closing?
Yeah, sorry. No overtime tonight. The unknown. I got to take off. I got it early morning tomorrow. But remember, Teespring, for your Paranormal Portal gear, there is that promo code still out there. Our friends with an S, FRIENDS, our OUR, of course.
All one word.
All one word.
No capitals.
50% off. There you go.
All right. So that's it for us. You guys take care. And we will be back on Friday nights and Saturday. So if you're liking the show, you want to come hang out again, join us on Friday night, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Saturday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Yep.
And don't forget the podcast again.
Yeah, the podcast.
The podcast is available on all the major platforms and even a few less major ones, or all of them, I think.
I got to tell you got to really listen to the newest one we put up.
Absolutely. You got to listen to all of them.
Well, I mean, you got to listen hard to the one that we just put up.
Yeah.
Because I'm not convinced.
Well, at any case, check it out, folks. It's out there, and we'll be back Friday night. So remember, if any of you got stories and you want to be a guest on the podcast, email me at paranormalportalradio@gmail.com. I'll be happy to talk to you when we can figure out a time. But thanks. Good night. Good night, Wes. Thank you. And thank all of you.
Yep.
So we love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day, and remember to laugh as much as you can. We'll see you next time, guys.
Good night.
Ooh.